Welcome back, everyone. Video number two. Let's do it. So here we are, guys. Top 50 players of all time. Anyone that watched the first video I did, you would have seen the stats I did on Pele, Maradona, Messi, Ronaldo. Messi came out on top, and then I thought, well, who comes after that? So I went to the time to go through 50 players. 50 players. It took hours, absolutely hours, but I did it. I did it for you people. So here we are. I've got the list. All right, let's get into it. Couple caveats before we jump into it. No defensive players. Why? Because the stats I'm doing is goals, minus penalties, plus assists. If you plug any defensive player in here, he's going to have a terrible score. Should there be a few defenders in the top 50? Probably, but give me an alternative. Let's be real. The best player on every team is always one of the attackers. Don't get offended if you're a defender. I played defense as well. The attacking players are just better. Simple. Boom. Number two, low weighting towards international play. Let me show you what I mean. So here we have Edo. His score for club is very high. His score for Cameroon is much lower. Most people in their mind give like a 50-50 weight between club and country. But look, he's played 656 games, only 114 of those were for Cameroon. Vast bulk of his play was with his club. As you can see, his total score is far closer to his score for club. So he's not dragged down by his disappointing play for Cameroon. It's called mathematics. Deal with it. Okay, third caveat, adjusting for era. Some of you might think this is a bit over engineering. Why are you going into all this detail? Let me show you something. Puskás here. If I don't adjust for era, he's creating 1.51 goals per game. It's insane. Like if I don't do this, literally the players from the 50s and 60s are going to be this entire list. So you've got to make some adjustment to say, okay, what's the equivalent? Not as many goals are scored these days, so he would have scored roughly that many goals if he played today. Give me an alternative, guys. It's good enough. Let's get into it. Okay, here's the list. I've color coded it. Red is Spain, yellow is Brazil, orange is Holland, light blue Argentina, dark blue France. Italy doesn't get a color because France gets dark blue. Sorry. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to go fast. You guys can pause it, but I'll just point out the things that I see. So down at the bottom, number 50, Zidane, 0.39 goals created per game. Actually, not very good. I get that he's a midfielder and he's doing other things on the field, but that is lower than I expected. There's other midfielders that much higher than him, so quite surprised by that. Fernando Torres, 0.41, disappointing, not very good at all. Saviola, not particularly good. Tevez, good player, 0.51. So it's interesting. A lot of people are in between zero point 0.5 to zero point 0.6. It's a lot of people nearly identical on the stats. So let's keep going. Kaká 0.52, another midfielder. So he's ahead of Zidane as a midfielder. I can say that. Have Bergkamp, Hernan Crespo, just above Tevez and Saviola, the other Argentinians. We've got a few Italians now. We've got Pippo Inzaghi, we've got Del Piero, Shevchenko, the Ukrainian, Rivaldo, another midfielder. Good score for a midfielder. We have Totti, so Totti slightly above Del Piero. We have a couple English blokes here now. Shearer, Owen, inseparable, 0.55. Ronaldinho, surprised that his score was so low. I mean, for me, he's like one of the best in history. And you look at that, you know, so surprised by how low that score is. We have David Villa here, well ahead of Fernando Torres, so settle that argument. Garrincha, 0.55. Similar to Ronaldinho, genuinely thought he'd be higher up the list. I'm probably as surprised as you are. Let's keep going. Gareth Bale, Di Maria, Baggio, another Italian. So he's the greatest of the Italians that we can see. Batistuta, Batistuta, maybe Argentina's best striker. I know, I think there's one more to come above him. Samuel Eto'o, one of the best African players we've ever seen. Wayne Rooney, he might be the highest English player. He was a very good player in his day. Gonzalo Higuain, he's a very divisive character. I don't think many people would want him in their Argentina team, but Numbers don't lie. Michel Platini, point 0.6. Okay, we're getting high here, boys. We're getting high. Platini, well above Zidane. So if you want to know who the best ever French player is, probably this bloke, or there might be another bloke in the conversation soon. George Best, Ireland, best player out of Britain by far. Don't argue with me. If you don't know who that is, go look it up. Eusebio, the Portuguese. He was a very good player. I probably expected to see him higher up on this list. Let's continue. Di Stefano, the Argentine, 0.63. I expected his scores to be a little bit higher. For me, he's got to be top 10. He's pretty much a midfielder. He was all over the field doing a lot of stuff. So he's really much higher than 23. Um, Apologies for that. Kevin De Bruyne, 0.64, phenomenally well for a midfielder. Very, very impressive. Thierry Henry, what a gun he was. Yeah, he definitely belongs here. But above Henry, we have Drogba, Sergio Aguero. Sergio Aguero, extremely good. Mo Salah, you knew he'd be here somewhere. Benzema, Benzema, man, point 0.7. Okay, we're getting hectic now. And look at this, Maradona, number 16. So I can't distinguish Maradona from, you know, Brazilian Ronaldo, Benzema. He's well below the top, well below the top. And that's why he's crying, because he's not the best. Okay, let's keep going. Who we got next? So Zico in at number 15, 0.72. Brazilian legend, Flamengo legend. Pretty sure he's a midfielder, attacking midfielder. So extremely good score for a midfielder. Brazilian Ronaldo. It annoys me when people refer to the Portuguese Ronaldo and just say Ronaldo. Just so we're clear, Ronaldo was always Ronaldo. And over here you have this guy called Cristiano, okay? So let's not mix that up anymore. 0.74, incredible striker. Above him, Van Basten, absolute gun. Here we have Cristiano Ronaldo, 0.83, absolutely incredible player. But he's crying because he's not even in the top 10, and he would cry about that. You know it's true. Let's keep going. So number 11, we have Romario, absolute gun, interesting character. Had some things to say about Calais, bit of a beef there. 0.83, same as Ronaldo, absolute weapon. So we're into the top 10 now. We have Lewandowski, 0.84, one of the best strikers we've ever seen, straight up. Ahead of him at number 9, Haaland, 0.86. He's going to be, by the time he finishes career, I think he's going to be well and truly up the top of this list. Number 8, Luis Suarez. Y'all forgot about Luis Suarez. Underrated. Should have won the Ballon d'Or in 2015. He was robbed. Anyway, 0.87. What he did at Liverpool, what he did at Barcelona, absolutely stunning. Number 7, we have Neymar, 0.88. I hate to admit it, but Neymar is incredibly good. Let's keep going. Number 6, Gerd Muller, 0.92. A lot of you maybe don't know Gerd Muller, played for Bayern Munich in Germany back in the 70s. Check him out. Absolute goal machine. Number 5, Puskás, the Hungarian, played for Real Madrid back in the 50s and I think the 60s. 0.96. Absolutely phenomenal. I might just do a video just on him one day because y'all punks forget about these greats from the past. Okay, we're nearly done, people. Number 4, Mbappe, 0.99. Can you believe it? Honestly, this guy is right up here with your Messi and your Pelés. And if he keeps it up, and I think he will, he's in that conversation. Straight up. Number 3, Pele, 1.03. We're above 1 goal a game now. Pele, mate. Oh, anyway. And we have number 2, Cruyff. Y'all know Cruyff just sneaks in ahead of Pele. Look, this is so close it doesn't matter. I mean, the difference between these three players is like whatever. They're basically a tie for first place. And number 1, as previously discussed, Messi, greatest player of all time. And if you don't agree, I'd like to say to you, give it a ball. Give it a ball. Ana ball. Ana